这个故事如果你听起来不累，那么你的听力水平在生活中是完全够用的。要持续提升英文，记得点击订阅按钮。我们开始吧。
If you are hungry enough, pride becomes very quiet, and a short sentence born on a cold English bridge learned that truth for us. Long before cities were clean and streets were safe, England moved at the speed of feet and carts. Life was narrow and hard, like the roads people walked every day. Most families owned little more than a table, a pot, and the skills in their hands. If work stopped, hunger came fast. In those days, charity was not organized. There were no offices, no forms, no rules written on paper. Help depended on mood, weather, and luck. A good day meant bread. A bad day meant nothing. Near London, in a market town built around a river, there stood an old stone bridge. It was not wide. 2 carts could not pass at the same time. Everyone slowed down there, and because people slowed down, beggars chose that place. Every morning, they arrived before the market opened. Some leaned on sticks. Some sat on the cold stone. Others stood straight, trying to look strong enough to deserve help. They knew the faces of regular merchants. They knew who gave and who never did. Among the people who crossed that bridge each day was a baker named Thomas. He was not rich, but he was steady. His shop was small, his oven old, and his hands were always white with flour. He woke before light, worked until his back hurt, and slept when the town went quiet. Like many bakers, Thomas often had bread left over. Not bad bread, just bread that had lost its softness. Too hard to sell, too good to throw away. Most days, he carried it with him and shared it along the way. That habit earned him nods and soft thanks. It also earned him an expectation. One winter morning, the wind cut through coats like knives. Breath hung in the air. Fingers went numb fast. The beggars on the bridge stamped their feet to stay warm. Thomas crossed with his basket and stopped, as he often did. He lifted the cloth and showed what he had. Several people stepped forward. A woman with red hands took a loaf and held it like treasure. An old man pressed it to his chest before eating. A thin boy reached in, grabbed a piece, and disappeared between carts. Then a man Thomas had seen before moved closer. He was not the weakest. His coat was torn but clean. His beard was trimmed. His eyes were sharp. He touched the bread, pushed one loaf aside, then another. "This one is too hard," the man said. "Have you something softer?" At first, Thomas thought the man was joking. No one laughed. "I worked all night," Thomas said. "This is what I have." The man frowned. "Then it is not good for me. My teeth hurt. I need fresh bread." The moment stretched. People stopped pretending not to listen. A fish seller paused with a bucket in his hand. A woman slowed her step. Everyone felt something was wrong, but no one moved. Thomas felt something break inside him. Not anger alone. Something sharper. A feeling that his effort meant nothing. He closed the basket. "Then you will eat nothing," he said. "Beggars can't be choosers." The words were simple, but they carried weight. They named an unwritten rule people already believed but had never said out loud. The man stood frozen. His face flushed. He wanted to argue, but the crowd had already decided. He stepped back, empty-handed. That sentence followed the crowd into the market. Someone repeated it by the meat stalls. Another said it over ale that night. It became a saying because it felt true. If you ask, you accept. If you depend, you do not demand. Days passed. Winter deepened. Work slowed. Then sickness came. Thomas first felt it as a chill that would not leave. Then came fever. His hands shook. He burned bread. Customers stopped coming. Soon, there was no bread at all. His savings vanished faster than he expected. Rent did not care about illness. Hunger returned, this time to his own table. One gray morning, Thomas did what he never thought he would do. He put on his coat, pulled it tight, and walked toward the bridge. Each step felt heavier than the last. He remembered the faces there. He remembered the words he had spoken. When he reached the stone, he stopped where the beggars always stood. He held out his hand. No one recognized him at first. To them, he was just another thin man with hollow eyes. Some passed without seeing. A few gave coins. One man dropped a crust and did not stop walking. Then a young baker's helper approached. The boy smelled of flour and smoke. He carried a small bundle. The boy opened it and held out a piece of bread. Hard bread. For a moment, Thomas almost spoke. The old pride rose up, sharp and useless. He wanted to ask for softer bread. He wanted to explain who he used to be. But the cold was real. The hunger was real. He took the bread. "Thank you," he said. He ate slowly. The bread scraped his mouth. It was not kind. It was not generous. But it filled his stomach. In that moment, the sentence returned to him, stripped of cruelty. Beggars can't be choosers. Not as an insult, but as a fact. Thomas recovered weeks later. Life returned, not better, but clearer. When he gave bread after that, he gave without judgment. When people complained, he understood. When they accepted quietly, he respected them. The saying lived on because people recognized themselves in it. Not just in hunger, but in every moment of need. Work dries up. Plans fail. Help arrives in forms we do not like. You may not stand on a stone bridge. You may not ask for bread. But you will face a time when life offers less than you hoped. When you take it anyway, you are not small. You are surviving, just like everyone else who ever learned what those words really mean.
能以非母语者的身份专注学习到现在，这本身就是很棒的进步。真诚感谢你的观看。如果你觉得本期内容实用，点赞或留言让我知道你的想法，这对我持续创作非常重要。我们下期见。